handling hard times. An unavoidable, sometimes common occurrence in life is that of hard times. Unfortunate and uncomfortable, hard times introduce us to pressure. With each one of us being different, so too are our hard times. However, there are those instances where we experience shared burdens due to our connections to others. In a world so vast and diverse, it's interesting, almost comical, how many of us go through shared experiences. Yet, at the drop of a hat, we can orate all the ways that we are different, all while dismissing one very important thing. We are all human. We may be unique, but our capacity for experiencing life couldn't be any more similar. As one steps into those troubled waters, we often find ourselves overwhelmed and overstimulated by whatever our difficult situation is. For some, these things come at a moment's notice and are sudden and unexpected. For others, there's a buildup that sees these things slowly accumulate and compound over time until the proverbial straw breaks the camel's back, or the dam breaks, releasing a flood into one's life. Hard times are tough, yes, but they are not impossible to overcome. First thing is to assess your situation, then develop a plan of action. Finally, be consistent in the execution of the plan. Assess the situation. Rather than fall to pieces at the first sign of trouble, I want to encourage you to do your level best to get some measure of understanding of the situation at hand. Get to a place where you are not merely experiencing hard times, but also studying it as well. Trust me, I know that most of us are not thinking about studying our situation, as why would we want to add another thing to our already full plate? Assessing a situation is nothing more than gathering information through experience and coming to an understanding through study and reasoning. In a word, knowledge. They say knowledge is power. Therefore, the more of it we acquire, the greater our chances are at overcoming that which burdens us. This step takes a lot of effort, as it is not the first reaction of most people to try and get a better understanding of hardship and setbacks. But when possible, I want to encourage you to take the time and get some understanding of your situation. Look at the situation itself. Look at how it affects you. Look at how it impacts others. Gather as much information as you can, as the more you know, the more you can use. In my life, I have experienced many hard times, some bigger than others. It wasn't until here recently that I realized the importance of not just experiencing my situation, but also studying it. As I awoke that morning to find out that I had lost one of the most important people to me at that time, my initial reaction was to break. Problem was, I was already broken, so this left me with few options. So I decided to pay close attention to the situation as it unfolded. Everything from how it affected me in my world to how it affected the world around me. This was by far one of the most difficult things I have done. However, the flip side to that is that it would prove to be the best thing that I could do in that situation, for it made what came next more manageable. Plan of action. After you take some time to understand your situation, now it's time to do something about it. Develop a plan of action as to how you will navigate this hectic field of uncertainty. Your shores are being battered with waves of pressure, and soon more can be affected if you don't come up with a plan. The point is to take action. Do something. It doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be on purpose. Sometimes all you can do is make small adjustments here and there. I know a lot of us don't think we've done anything if it's not big, elaborate, or noticeable. However, it's not about the size of the act, rather the act itself. I want to encourage you to use those around you as well, as working with others not only increases the effectiveness of the plan, but also gives you another level of accountability for sticking to it. Know that there is no such thing as a perfect solution, and sometimes our plans don't work, and that's okay. Readjust and try something else. Understand there is sometimes more than one way to get through hard times. As I fell into the deep end of grief, My one and only plan was to get above the water. I wanted to let myself be human and experience the grieving process explicitly and fully. However, I did not want to get lost in it. I fought to keep my head above water through self-care and self-reflection. This would be my plan for a while, but before long, I would make a new plan. My plan became to move forward, and to do that, I had to get extremely deliberate with what I found myself doing. Be consistent. After you have established a plan of action and start walking in it, you have to keep up with your consistency. The more we do a thing, the more comfortable we become with it. Meaning, if something seems hard to do at first, then the easier it becomes the more you do it. Take solace in knowing that trouble won't last forever. You just have to keep going until it's over. One thing I am painfully aware of is that we are not always in a space of consistent progress. Some days are better than others, and those days that are not can be very difficult. Sometimes we just don't have it in us to do what we know to do. Don't be alarmed, as this is natural. Burnout is an all too real issue that sees people collapse under the pressure of their situation. My advice here is in two parts. First is to step away. Take some time to reset and refocus. The second is not to linger. Don't take too much time away, as the longer you stay away, the harder it becomes to get back to it. I believe that we must do our best to find a healthy balance, and above all, stay as consistent as possible. My current plan sees me moving forward through this grieving process and using my growth to encourage others to believe in themselves and get through their situation. It is a very demanding process that has become quite difficult to maintain. Far too frequently do I find myself in a place of burnout and just don't feel like doing what needs to be done. I do my best to step back and take some time to collect myself, but ultimately, I push through, as how consistent I am sets the tone for how effective my efforts turn out to be. So in closing, at some point in time, we all will have the unfortunate opportunity to experience hard times. As chaotic as this can be, do not be alarmed, as you have what it takes to handle it. First, you must assess the situation. Don't just experience your situation, but take a little time to study it and get a better understanding of it. Next, you have to develop a plan of action. Once you know a little more about what you're dealing with, now you must start to actively move forward through it. Finally, be consistent, which means don't give up and don't quit. Keep doing what you decide to do, and when you need to, take a break, but don't stay away too long. I know what you are facing may be hard to deal with, but remember, that which doesn't kill you simply makes you stronger. Go forward and be blessed. You got this.